welcome to the Happiest Hour. I'm so happy you're here with me today. Of course, I'm Brendon Lemon, the host of the show. We're going to have Lancey, a co-host, join in a second. I just first want to say cheers to you guys. Cheers for surviving another day in quarantine. If you're just joining us, which a few of you are, I want to say hello. Of course, the show, Tuesday through Friday, the Happiest Hour, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, and 11:30 p.m. GMT. That's going out to some special people on the other side of the pond, I will say. So thank you guys so much for joining today. We're so excited. I hope you found us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitch, on every other platform that I could possibly get this thing onto. You know what I mean? It's like a round table. It's like a Russian roulette of platforms. I'm so excited, by the way, to bring on our always right hand man. I'm the left hand to your right hand, I think. Please give it up for Lancey Joe on the show. It must be Wednesday because I see the blue tie, buddy.
Yeah, I only have 3 ties, and I try to, and 2 of them I really wear a lot. One is for special occasions.
Well, this is
actually
I
didn't wear that one yesterday.
This is a special occasion. Oh, this is what happens when you produce the show by yourself, and you don't outsource your lighting to somebody else. There we go.
Nice.
Thanks so much. This is how a true professional does it, you guys. I'm so glad everybody could catch that early. Looking over at all of you, very professional people. For our special guest today, Joy Shanaberger. I'm really excited to have her on. I haven't talked to her in a long time. Actually, that's not true. I've spoken to her a lot over social media in the recent past, but I haven't had a call with her at all. You know what I mean? You just these days, it's funny. It's strange to think about it because you're like, you know, you're always in touch with people now on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Twitter and all that stuff. You know,
Twitch.
Lance. And Twitch.
A lot of Twitch contacts.
I don't know. You better be careful on Twitch, buddy.
What goes on Twitch? People watch
people play video games. That's the only thing I think I know about that platform. It's like what TikTok is to dancing, Twitch is to nerds playing video games, I think. It's like you should be on it.
Facebook
for as much as
what Facebook is, yeah.
For as much as really GTA as you play.
Yeah. I'm looking into that so people can enjoy my. Actually, I'm not very funny when I play Grand Theft Auto, especially here recently, because I've hit a few missions that are really grinding my gears.
Yeah? Are you just... I can't imagine you sitting playing a video game and yelling obscenities. It just doesn't feel like what a good Memphis boy like you would do.
I'm not like a low-key high school football coach. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me right now. This is ridiculous.
You're like the defensive coordinator for a high school like a middle school football team or whatever. Come on, y'all. Get it together.
I'm not going to like cuss them, but they know to avoid me.
Let me ask you a question, Lance. Did you ever get in a fight? You ever gotten in a fight when you were in school or when you were younger?
Yeah, obviously. How do you think I made all my money? It was from fist fights.
Wait, what do you mean, obviously?
No, not obviously. I think the last real fight I got into was like maybe in elementary school where there's actually fists thrown.
Really? Yeah. So you were like what, 9 years old, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Well, maybe a few in like middle school, but the older I got, the less inclined I was to fist fight.
You can't. I feel like comedians go one of 2 ways. They're either people who were really, really likely to fight somebody, or they're like the kids who would just avoid it at all costs.
Right.
And it's fun. It's weird because I was I felt like I was a kid who would avoid it at all costs, and then in college I got into doing mixed martial arts, and it was like, yeah, and it was I had never really been in a fight before until I got in the cage and fought a dude.
Oh man, talk about next level.
Well, I mean, we're talking about it was in Mount Clemens, Michigan, man. I wouldn't say it was next level. It was like barely on the level.
Barely above sea level.
Barely a Fight Productions was, I think, the people who put it together.
My dad was actually is still, although he doesn't do a lot anymore, but he's like a 5th-degree black belt.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Your father's a 5th
No, I'm not
degree,
kidding.
Your father's a 5th-degree black belt? In what?
What is it? I think it's just karate.
Yeah, he just wow. Did he like open his own dojo or anything down there?
No, he was kind of, I think he was like the number 2 guy in somebody's dojo for a long time, but he now, I mean, because he's in his 70s, so he teaches
now he's
kids,
like 20th degree black belt.
Right. Every year it goes up a degree, just like the actual Earth's temperature.
You know, it's funny. I wonder if there's a correlation. You know what I mean? Or it's just Lancey's and the Earth's temperature. When they, I remember when, and I saw on the Discovery Channel, when they drilled into ice cores, they found your father's old black belts. I remember that from 10,000 years ago.
He's been looking for those. He was pissed at me because he thought I lost them. Thought I was playing with them. Yeah, so now he teaches kids, like at the church.
Yeah.
So not a lot of hand-to-hand combat anymore. So he's just teaching technique,
I gotta say,
and, I mean, they're small kids too. What do you say?
I mean, well, I was just gonna say, I gotta say hello to Ernest Sophia from Iceland and Ashton Moore, who showed up for the happy hour. Hope you guys are drinking. Put in the comments what you're drinking. By the way, Lance no longer drinks alcohol. He's an adult human, but he's got that iced tea and that wonderful thing. I've got here our today's episode, I should let you know, brought to you by Traverse City Whiskey. Traverse City Whiskey Company from Traverse City, Michigan. Traverse City Whiskey, yes, even you can afford a ticket away from a life of complaining significant others and difficult bosses. Traverse City Whiskey for a vacation from your entire life.
Complaining, difficult bosses, and your significant other.
Yeah, you can get away from all of it over here, man.
That could be all 3 in one person, really.
That could be all 3 in one. That's depending on which house you live in.
Right.
I have enough trouble at my regular job. I don't think I could also work with the person I come home to. Like, I think that would
be tough, wouldn't it?
That would be a real challenge. How do you and Laura do it? You guys have different. Well, you're both performers, but she's an actress. Like, it's almost like different parts of the same thing.
Yeah, and I like that a lot because she's close enough to the art to understand the sacrifices.
Yeah,
but also far enough away where there's not that pressure of like, she's gonna write a killer bit that. And then get
more famous than you.
Yeah. If she gets famous in acting, I'll just be like, I could have done that.
She didn't even have to write punchlines to become famous on the stage.
Yeah, come on. How many open mics did she do?
It is weird. Stand-up comedy is one of the weirdest performance arts there is because it feels like you're it's like a constant failure. Actually, it's funny because Joy Shanaberger, like I told you, but I should tell the audience watching from Iceland and around the world that Joy did an amateur boxing fight for charity, which is really cool. And I think that's awesome. I think it's really fun. I think that I think everybody should learn some boxing or some mixed martial arts or something like that. But it's strange because boxing and MMA and like comedy have something in common, which is that you can only get better by like failing and putting yourself on the line. So like comedy is so weird because it's like you get up all the time and you're refining these jokes and they just don't work for the longest period of time until finally they start working. And it's the same kind of thing. I remember drilling MMA and I'm like jab, cross, hook, jab, cross, hook, jab, cross, hook. And as soon as I would get into a spar match with somebody, they would just beat the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Until finally one day you're like, oh shit, I kind of get it now.
Yeah. Do you feel like you take a lot of hits to the head though?
I took a lot of hits to the head. I don't know if Joy's taken a lot of hits to the head. I don't know if normal people take a lot of hits to the head. I think I did for a while though.
You did?
Yeah. Can't you tell?
Is that what's going on?
It's like a concussion. I'm in one of those concussion experiments. You know what I mean?
Right.
We should share, by the way, the latest news from COVID-19. The latest news is that apparently it's affecting your. Oh my gosh, Erna Sophia, I have to read this because she just posted it. I was about to say more of this COVID-19 news, but I'm going to jump right into this. I love this. Erna says, "Does Lance get all fancy just for the shows? His tie is so professional." Erna, he wakes up like this. He goes to bed like this, and he wakes up like this.
I've actually got on sweatpants just like all of you right now. Not really.
One of my favorite things from Some Good News, which is what John Krasinski started doing during this whole thing, he created his own news show. At the end of the show, he's all dressed up in like a suit, and he stands up and he's got like underwear on.
Yeah.
It's like every Zoom meeting I've been in lately.
So you were going to tell me about something that happened with the COVID-19.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I should probably not forget. This is like apparently important, according to... I read an article in The Atlantic that... Friends of the show...
You don't even have a subscription. Just mail it to you.
I don't even need one, yeah. National Public Radio and The Atlantic just arrive in my brain.
Yeah.
They go. There's a countdown before they hear when I've used it in an anecdote. The real lack of cocktail parties for me to drop bits of knowledge from it's scary. Actually, I don't know what to do with it. I had to create the show in order to share this stuff.
So what's the fact? I'm dying to know.
Well, apparently it affects your COVID-19 can affect your hands and your feet. Apparently, that there's some scientists saying about 20% of cases have things going on with your hands and feet. So even if you don't show any other symptoms, that could be something that affects you. And I just wanted to let you know, Lance, because I know how important feet are to you.
Yes. Yeah. This might affect my sex life greatly. I'll be like, before you take your shoes off, have you been checked for COVID? Is it like discoloration or deformation or something?
Yeah, I think that what it is that if you get COVID-19, then Quentin Tarantino becomes obsessed with your feet. I think that's what ends up happening. I really wanted you to spit that drink out, man. I knew that would get you.
Yeah, because as a comedian, there is like the punch zone where you can get the drink to spit out.
Oh yeah, you get that's the whole reason I'm doing this thing, man. Is living for that moment. If I can get that one moment with the crowd where I see a guy drinking something and then I can have the punch land right there.
Yeah, I think maybe there is a slight delay here. So, I hear right here, you gotta have that drink fully in past the critical phase.
You're right. I'm not considering my audience when I'm thinking about timing over here. I think the best time, let me tell you this, timing is important to comedy because the best time to land a punchline was 25 years ago, actually.
I'll tell you this, it's at least a month ago, at least.
Yeah. So I need to say, it's funny because I feel like boxing and MMA have a lot in common because we say punch in both of them. It's punch. The punch lands. And so that's why I'm so excited to get Joy on here because we'll talk about it. She's got some stories. By the way, I should say hello to my UK family who's watching also. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I know that it is 11:47 GMT, so it's a little bit late.
I was raised in the Greenwich Village, and Also, I also was going to do mixed martial arts, but they wouldn't let me do it because they found out both my parents were white.
That one's been bothering you your whole life, man.
Oh man, I wanted to get into it, but they're like, "No."
Sorry, buddy, can't do it. Well, here, let's without further ado, let's go ahead and bring her on the call. I'm excited. We got her going under the name Joy is Strong and Beautiful. That's her fighting name. Everybody, please give it up. We're gonna go ahead and add her to this call. One of my favorite things about Ecamm Live, which is the tool we use here, is to always try to figure out whether or not it's going to actually work when when we dial up another guest. Here we go. Is she available? Doo-doo. Riveting, by the way, riveting video here as we attempt to add more guests to this. I really need
to do a set.
I really need to start doing. I really need to get a producer on this thing. You know what I mean? Because spinning two plates at once is getting a little challenging.
You shouldn't be spinning plates while you're trying to put on this video cast.
Yeah, I feel like that's good. Hey, there we go. Joy Shanaberger, welcome. You got it?
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
I can't hear anything. Give me one second.
It's all right. This happened yesterday with Josh O. also.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that's the case, but it's definitely been going on.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear us? Nope.
Ta-da! There we are.
Surprise!
Gotcha. Surprise! We're here.
Welcome to the show.
How you guys doing?
Joy Shanaberger, how you doing? Cheers, by the way. Let's put this up and get it going. Cheers.
Cheers, salute.
Whoa, bang. You're drinking, there was much ado about your drink earlier. You were talking about a mezcal last word.
It's my favorite drink in the world. This one's a regular one. This is a regular last word, but it's my favorite drink because it originated in our lovely hometown there, Mr. Lemon.
Did it really? It originated in Plymouth, Michigan?
No.
Yeah.
Outside, right. Yeah, Plymouth Athletic Club. No, it's a prohibition drink from Detroit Athletic Club back in the 30s, and then it got revived. Like, I don't know, Ashton would know this, maybe a decade ago, out of a Seattle bartender who was looking for a special, and now it's one of the #1 grossing cocktails in all of the country.
Well, there's so I learned about it because I went to a speakeasy in Ann Arbor called The Last Word, and I feel like this is amazing, Lance. Lance will find this fantastic. This is one bit of history I actually didn't know. Like, one of our favorite things to do on the show is for Lance to ask me eclectic, esoteric questions from history, and this was one I didn't know actually. So so I learned something today, Joy.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much. So check it out. We got the gloves on the wall behind you.
Just let people know, man.
Yeah, dude, you don't have people. This is your home office, right? You don't like have people come in. This is not your office where you meet with clients and you're like, yeah, by the way.
No, but we're gonna move into new offices once this whole thing is over, and I want a belt in August, which you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to put it above my head in the office just because it'd be funny.
Just put it right above just on the desk, like right up there.
And then not address it at all, like just like have it there and not talk about it, just to throw people through.
Just get some fake blood and put it on the belt, like.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Hey, you guys taught me something too. I was listening earlier. I feel like an idiot because I had no idea what Twitch was. So it's good to know that, Lance, you're the #1 player on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lance,
I'm doing most of mine offline right now, but I want viewers at all points in my day. So Twitch would be a great outlet for this.
I would really enjoy watching you live stream playing GTA and just hearing your comments the whole time, Lance.
I think people would judge me too on Grand Theft Auto. You have to do so many bad things. People would be judging me, at getting killing people
Yeah,
and
but I feel like as a nice Southern boy, I feel like your attempts to still be like friendly to the audience would be so charming as you were like running people over and
yeah.
Lance would just shoot somebody in the face and say, "Bless their heart," and just like.
Oh, I'm so
So
sorry.
you know the code. You know the Southern code for bless your heart for FU.
Yeah,
You've heard that,
exactly. Yeah. Your Twitch screen name would probably be "Bless Your Heart." Like, tear people up.
Do y'all know the Northern code for bless your heart? The Northern one.
No, what is that?
No worries.
Oh yeah.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Hold on, Ashton just posted in the thing. So let me just read this. The Last Word is a gin-based Prohibition-era cocktail originally developed at the Detroit Athletic Club. While the drink eventually fell out of favor, it enjoyed a renewed popularity after being rediscovered by the bartender Murray Stenson in 2004 during his tenure at the Zig Zag Cafe. Wow. Ashton, totally crushing it coming in. Ashton, great photographer, by the way. I feel like he's taken a lot of your social media pics, I think, right?
Yeah. Yep, he nails it. He's got an eye for the lens.
I wish, man, I need to get in I got to get a camera. Gloria needs a camera over here to start taking. I see. When I lived in New York, I saw so many Instagram boyfriends. Oh my gosh, and that's not what I'm saying. Ashton is. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
but
he's definitely not that. I don't believe in Instagram boyfriends. I just can't get into it. We had fun with the belt photo shoot though. It was like, I don't know, 50 degrees, and the water just like kept hitting me because we went on a little trip after the fight. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, no Instagram boyfriends.
What is Instagram boyfriends?
Yeah, so
it's, you know when you're walking down anywhere, right? You're walking down the street and all of a sudden there's somebody who like it would be like if you and I were together and we're walking down the street and I just stopped everything and gave you a fan to like blow in my face so my hair was going back, and then you were trying to get all the angles for me, but you weren't in the photo. Oh. And then I would come back and be like, "Let me see it." No, let's do it again. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Is that fair, Brendon?
Yeah, that's actually that was a pretty good description. And if you want to know the mecca for Instagram boyfriends, it is that street in Dumbo in Brooklyn with the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge in the background. Like that is where they all go, is that one location.
Yeah, just flocking.
So, I mean, that's what if you are on a swipe app right now, if you're on, Tinder or Bumble or Hinge, you need to put some examples of your photography, and you will get swiped on quick. Like you were.
That's a really good strategy.
So Joy, let's talk about this. So you're let's hear the story of how you got involved, how you got the Golden Gloves and the belt that you won, because I think that's pretty freaking cool. So I should say for the background of the audience, Joy's obviously a friend from way back. We went to high school together. And you now live in DC, right? Or DC area. Yeah. And do a variety of different things, but you got involved in charity boxing, and that's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I came to DC for 1 year, and it's been 11. So here we are. But I was previously, Brendon, we share this in common, worked for good old Uncle Sam before I came to start the company. And while I was there, I did a lot of international travel with the Secretary of Defense and weapons buyer, person who buys all the stuff. Yay, awesome. But
pretty cool.
Yeah, great. But it keeps our country safe, and I actually do love it. I just feel funny saying it out loud. So anyway, in this process of traveling, I would usually be with a lot of men, a lot of military guys, and I wanted to kind of carve out my own little patch of camaraderie and like show that I could hang and all that stuff. So we started working out together, right? And you're on a really rigid schedule. You'd hit like, I don't know, 9 countries in 14 days. So it's like, hey, let's hit a workout at 3 a.m. go, right? So Learned how to touch a barbell, which was fun. We'd drop into, international CrossFit gyms and things like that. And then took up boxing. And so it was just a way for me to bond with them and also kind of hold my own as a young female in defense. So that's how I originally got into it. And then it just became a total passion because I learned by doing, right? So we had this bright idea in the company about, 2 years ago or so. And at this point, the company's only 2 years old. I said, hey, guys, we're going to throw a charity boxing match to benefit veterans.
Awesome. I love that I love that you learn by doing. I learned by getting more knowledgeable women than me on my show.
There you go. Hey, I will drink to that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, through that, we had no idea what we were doing. I had no business throwing a, $1 million charity fight, but I really care about the mission and wanted to benefit the community. So we did it. We pulled it off. Everybody pulled together, and I ended up winning, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wish this is why I need a producer, is because what I'll have to do post this, or maybe you can share it on Facebook, is the video of you entering the ring is like amazing. You have all these people surrounding you, and you're like, the music's playing and all this stuff. When I had a fight, I didn't even get to choose any of that.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. The coolest part for me, that was amazing, right? I definitely won't host an event and fight again. That was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot to do. But I think the coolest thing is we had some junior Olympians fight, and they were 14, 15 years old. They're from inner city Maryland, and they had never experienced being in front of an audience and being treated like superstars before.
That's cool.
So outside of all the funds we raised for veterans, obviously, that was amazing. It was so cool to see them. They couldn't believe that their face was on a Jumbotron, and a lot of kids get into boxing to get out of the city.
Yeah.
Same as Detroit, right? So that was really, really cool. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, a friend of ours caught that. Ashton's got the video on his social, and that walkout was fun. We remixed Andrea Bocelli, "Time to Say Goodbye," with something else. So yeah, it was funny. I ended up fighting a professional cheerleader for the Redskins. She's a good friend of mine.
What?
Yeah. She's a really good friend of mine, actually. I have so much respect for her, and we were really good match because we had about the same training.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So her dad is a Marine.
Oh, boy.
And the first thing he taught her was how to throw a punch. And so she came in to make Daddy proud. She just was
gosh.
whoa, so it was really, really tough match and fun, so we did it. Yeah.
That's amazing. But you won that fight, right?
I did, yeah. I took
man.
the first and third round. She had me pretty even at round 2. It actually took me by surprise. I was like, what's happening right now?
She came out, right? She came out, yeah. She needed that first round just to feel you out.
Yeah, exactly. But nothing humbles you more than getting punched in the face. For as invincible as we feel as Americans,
oh my God.
One punch, that's all it takes. You're like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, it's weird. We've talked about it kind of before. I was talking about it slightly earlier, but it's just something I've talked about with people in the Chicago comedy community and the New York comedy community. Is something that I think that I like. One of the reasons I like comedy is because, and I like mixed martial arts. I like combatives is because it's that is a reality you can't get away from. That's where you're at.
Oh, yeah.
You got punched. The audience,
you gotta face it.
Yeah, the audience didn't laugh. It's not kind of in the middle. That's what happened, and now you got to deal with it. There's something about that.
I was talking to another. I was on a business call and found out that he was a comedian, which I'm going to introduce you guys. I mentioned that his name's Neil, so you need to have him on the show because he's got a pretty funny comedy story. But
yeah.
I was chatting with him about it, and he was likening the same thing, right? He basically was like, "Yeah, you suck until you don't." And he's like, until you don't, that's just it. That's the journey. So,
and if you're like me, you just keep sucking.
Actually, okay, quick pivot. Lancey, you'll like this. I went to Brendon's first comedy show ever.
Oh,
and we were
I was about to bring this up.
We were maybe 14.
Yeah,
maybe.
We were in writing center at Plymouth Canton Educational Park, and
my God.
And Joy wanted to come see me do stand up. And it was the first. This is 100% real. This is the first night that I bombed, and I bombed so bad I did not do stand up again for 4 months. Like,
it was terrible.
yeah.
But yeah, let me explain where I was at as a human being. I got really obsessed with Nirvana randomly, I think because I like wanted to be closer to my mother.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with your 14-year-old self.
Yeah, so I will never forget this. Brendan, you probably remember this. So I made a jean jacket and like, faked this like cutout Nirvana, whatever, with like ribbon and all sorts of crap. Where people started asking me if I was okay because I was like going punk for 2 weeks. And I'll never forget it because it was in that 2-week period where everybody was like, is Joy all right? That I went to this comedy show because I was like, that sounds cool. What's that about? And then it was so bad. I didn't.
Bad. I bombed. It's to this day, Lance. To this day, it is the worst I've ever bombed, and that includes all the comedy I bombed at when I was in Edinburgh. I mean, I bombed. It was painful, and
yeah, it was really bad.
And poor Joy. I'm like, and the whole time I'm like talking about. I'm like, yeah, no, I got it. I've been doing comedy for like a couple years now. Like, I got it, and then it was just like.
It was terrible, but it's a good life lesson, right? I mean, we talk about this a lot with like just the community of people here about, I think the people that make a difference no matter what you're trying to do. If you're boxing, businessing, being a comedy writer or performer, whatever that is, like if you continue to face it and continue to suck, that's okay. I think that there are certain times where you're like, no, I actually suck really bad and I probably shouldn't continue to pursue this.
Yep.
But if you can make it past that breakthrough, right, some really special things happen, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it was, I mean, the thing that I think the lesson that I think actually boxing or fighting and comedy have in common also is that it's like, you never know. You know what I mean? You have no idea what you're about to get up in front of. So it's like, I think a lot about Dave Chappelle in Philadelphia, that show where he bombed for like 20 minutes on stage.
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle's the greatest living comedian, probably. Yeah. And, I mean, it's just, it could be, for you or me, it could be any day. It could be whatever. There's a humility that it brings to you where it's like, yeah, you could be Floyd Mayweather, but if you drop your left elbow because you're not thinking about it, a right hook is going to knock you out. Yeah, it's the same exact. That happened to me. The first time I got knocked out was I had a fight, the MMA, and I won in the first round. I won really quickly, which was awesome. And I was like, yeah, I'm like some pretty tough shit, man. I'm like, pretty cool coming from the gym. And then this guy was like, yeah, man, you want to spar? And we start sparring. That's exactly what I did. I threw a jab. I dropped my left elbow, left shoulder. And the last thing I remember seeing is a red glove coming over my shoulder. And then I woke up stumbling around the gym. Like, that's what happens. I thought I was some hot shit. And I'm like, ooh, Joy Shanaberger from Writing Center wants to come see me do stand-up. Bomb.
Writing Center. Oh, my God. That's too funny. That's too funny. Lancey, I want to know, what is your first memory of being able to make somebody spit their drink out, either with what you've written for other people or what you've delivered?
Oh, man, that's a good question. You got an answer, Lance, that come to mind?
I think that it would have to be like a in just regular situation, not actually on stage. Just in regular conversation.
Can you think of one specifically?
Yeah, I wish I had a good memory that came to mind of when I made somebody spit their drink out. That, like, I mean, I think, man, I'll have to think on this. Something will come up in a minute. Like, it's funny because it's one of these things where it's like you, as a comedian, that moment where you can deliver that punch, it like hangs in space, and like that's why you do it. It's because you're like, this is gonna be good. Like, I'm curious about this, Lance. If you were gonna have a fight, if you were gonna do a boxing fight or something, what would your walkout music be?
Ooh, this is a fun game.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I've heard boxers come out to that "Bring 'Em Out" song. You know that "Bring 'Em Out, Bring 'Em Out, Bring 'Em Out, Bring 'Em Out." Yeah, that's a really good song. I guess maybe it's got to be something really aggressive. I don't know. Maybe if you came out to something like some Mozart or something, they'll be like,
that's what I did. Yeah. That's why
really Botticelli.
So we literally, this is why I did it, because I kind of want it to be a mind game, because nobody does that. And also it's a little like hats off to my lineage. So I came out to Andrea Bocelli's Time to Say Goodbye, but the opera version. So it's like
okay.
this like beautiful whatever. But then we remix it because you got to get hyped to like go in there,
yeah.
you know.
Right.
But it was pretty fun. Yeah.
Oh man, I think I would be the theme from Into the Woods. You know that. Actually, I take that back. I think it would be the theme from Cats.
Yes.
Oh, would you crawl out too? Would you like crawl?
Wow. I'm
Yeah,
the
that
rum
actually-
tub tugger, bitch. No. Joy,
That's really good.
did you? Speaking of surreal experiences like getting punched in the face, you didn't happen to see the movie Cats, did you?
I haven't. I saw the original production, but I haven't seen the movie.
The original production sounds amazing. The oh my God, Randy Cosi says Cisco thong song. I like when the booty go.
I could actually see you guys doing like 10 of you comedians doing like a quick like video splicing of you being fake boxers to like walk out and like choose ridiculous theme musics and then riff off that and do a little bit. That'd be fun.
You just wrote a sketch for when we get out of Corona. We're gonna
good. When I'm sick of doing defense things, I'll come right for you guys.
That's always good. Did you know, Lance? Me and Tommy Carner were gonna have a fight at one point for charity in Chicago, and I don't remember I don't remember what happened actually.
What's the status on that?
Well, Tommy moved back to Boston for a minute, and then
Brendon,
he's back now though.
I'll put you in for the next charity fight. We're postponing this year, obviously, because everything going on. But early 21.
Deal. I'll train. I'll do another one. I'll get down to my fighting weight. I fought at 129.
Oh.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Yeah, I was 21, I think. 22.
Okay, that makes sense.
This was a while ago. It was the hardest. Yeah. It was a really hard cut, and for a guy who used to wrestle in high school, it was painful. Joy, I had to. I remember this hopefully doesn't gross anybody out. I had at one point I couldn't make weight, and I was like really worried about it. And a buddy of mine, who I was fighting with, who's gone on, he was great, man. He went on to win his weight class in XFC in Michigan, which was great. But I really I could not make weight, and he was like, "All right, man, here's what you do." He's like, "Take some X-Lax, go to Lifetime Fitness and sit in their sauna. Everything." He's like, "Dude, over the course of a couple hours, like you'll be fine. Everything come out." Nothing happened. Like I had nothing in my system. It was insane. That cut was so hard. I think I gained in the 6 hours after I weighed in at 129. I think I gained like 15 pounds. Like I drank a ton of water. I ate a ton. I went to Antonio's in Canton, Michigan, and ate like I was just like, just keep carbs coming. Just keep them. I don't care what I eat. Like it was wild.
Yeah. So what else is going on in your guys' world? Lancey, where are you? Are you in Chicago too?
Yeah.
Got it. Didn't it snow there?
It did.
It did snow a couple of days ago, yeah.
Ugh. Fun fact, I used to work for Jesse White in Chicago. And have you guys seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the scene where they're going down the road and they have the parade and there's people like flipping in the background? Well, that's called the Jesse White Tumblers. That's what I used to do, is manage all those people before I came to DC. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah, you were. I was gonna say this. I forgot to look it up. Is the term for what were you were flag twirler? Like what's the name of that?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Color guard.
Color guard. You were color guard. That's right. You were color guard in high school. I remember that.
I still have my saber and my rifle.
Well, it's, let me tell you, it's either unironic or unironic that you ended up working in defense.
Yes, this is true.
Saber and a rifle walking around.
Too. Yeah. When I first got a job here at DC, it didn't really pay a whole time, right? And so I picked up a job at McLean, which is just outside of DC, coaching their color guard team. So, came full circle. It was good money, whatever, you know. But I went, a friend of mine invited me because we were in this professional performing arts group kind of in the middle of college together. And he was teaching there and he's like, Joy, they have 2 left feet. You got to come help. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that again. And then I just went and I felt bad. But then we ended up growing the program actually from, it was 6 girls at the time. And then we ended up with 40 teammates after 2 years. So we grew the program, you know, pretty large, which was kind of fun.
That's exciting. I feel like that's I feel like I wish I could. There are times that I wish. So there was an improv club at Plymouth Canton Educational Park, which is how I kind of got started in comedy. I had 2 stand-up uncles, so since I was a child, I'd always been around comedy clubs and things like this. But I got started because of improv club at Plymouth Canton Educational Park, and I kind of wish sometimes I could go back and like do something. You know what I mean? Like work with. It'd be kind of fun, right?
It's rewarding. It's really rewarding. You know, it's just, and it's interesting the things that you remember from when you were that young and how you pass them on. I don't know. It's just kind of fun. I have a lot of like moonlit as a nerd experiences in my life. Color guard is one of them.
You put up a good facade.
Yeah, you know, fine.
But we all know that Nirvana jacket happened.
Oh my God, did it ever?
Your grunge phase during color guard?
Yeah, all 14 days of it. Yeah.
I don't know if I had phases when I was like in high school. I don't remember having like phases. I don't remember. I kind of feel like I was just careening through the world as somebody who barely knew what he was doing. And like, I mean, I guess that's what every teenager does. But
that's accurate. I mean, it's not any different than being an adult, honestly.
No, it really isn't. It's very funny to think about that because you think when you're a kid, you think that adults like know what they're doing. You think like adults have like some handle on what's happening in the world, and some do, admittedly. But like most adults,
we all do a little
bit. But like most adults are just their teenage selves, except older, and like very little has changed for like a lot of them.
Those are the people that I love, though. Like I love when people can be their true self. Like everybody obviously has to have a brand these days and all that stuff and whatever, but the people I connect with most, no matter what industry, are people that can hold on to that well and just like be real, you know? Yeah. There's this great, I had this great encounter with somebody in DC who was like clearly homeless or experiencing homelessness at that point in their life. Yeah. And you know, I was walking past, like, do you have any coffee? And I had coffee for somebody else. So I was like, man, I really want this coffee, but I'm going to give it to this person. Cause I just felt moved, right? Yeah. And I don't give to everybody. It's kind of one of those things. Yep. Anyway. And so I like give it to this person and he looked at me and he goes, you know what? Because I smiled. I was like, here you go, sir. Like, have a great day, whatever. And he goes, you know what, ma'am? You can't fake real. I love you. But it always stuck with me because he was right? Like, you can't fake real. I was moved to do it, and I like had a smile on my face and treated him like a human being. And so, yeah, it's just interesting those moments where you actually can like sway somebody left or right or whatever, like their day, their moment, whatever. So, yeah, you can't fake real.
You added value. I have a similar story I can relate. But before I do that, Erna Sophia wants to know what were you after the Nirvana phase, Joy?
Oh my God.
Our number one fan in Iceland, Erna.
Erna, after Nirvana, I went to Braces and Color Guard Nerd, which also is known as marching band or band camp. So that's where we went.
Oh man, that's so it rolled right in.
After Nirvana, I went to band camp.
Oh man. I got a great story about or not great maybe, but similar kind of when I went through some like quasi homelessness in my life. I've talked about this a little bit where after like a family tragedy, I just really couldn't. It was difficult for me to like get anything going in my life. I just didn't have a lot of. It's a long story. I've talked about it in other places. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go check out some of those videos. But I ended up moving to Chicago, getting this job that paid decently, like it was great. And for the first I want to say 6 months I was here, every single homeless person I met, I would just give all my cash to. I would just be like, I sympathize with you. Here you go. And so one guy came up and he was like, hey, man, can you spare anything? I'm trying to get something to eat. I give him like $5, which is all I had on me. Then he walks away. And then 2 seconds later, he comes back and he goes, by the way, your cell phone is like behind you. You set it behind you. You can't see it. Somebody's going to steal it, man. And I always thought, I'm so glad I gave that guy money because he could have just grabbed my cell phone and like walked away. Like,
that's true.
You got to be good in the world, man. Karma will come back, you know?
Yeah. It's just be real, you know? And if you're not motivated to do something, then don't. Like, it's not that.
Well, let me talk about motivation. I think you're one of the most one of the things that's been nice about reconnecting with you in the last like year or so has been that you are very motivated and you're really good at putting out a lot of positivity and a lot of like really good like positive messages on social media and these kinds of things. I feel like I barely have energy for anything. And sometimes I'm like, do I have the energy to muster a positive message on social media? I don't know how I could do it, but you're like a almost like a freight train of positivity, like all these things that you do. Where does that all come from? How do you muster that?
I think my parents tricked me by naming me Joy. Because, like, can you imagine if I was just like cold-hearted and terrible? Like, it would be really difficult for people to like understand what box to put me in. And everybody likes to put somebody in a box because then you can actually do something, right? You got to make sense of it.
Yeah.
So I think, quite honestly, I think that's part of it. You know, just from a very young age. I mean, I remember every comment about my name, and my earliest memory is, "Are you happy all the time?" I'm like, yes, no, what? Should I be? You know, so I actually kind of struggled with it growing up, which is funny. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it actually is my natural alignment. Like, that's just who I am by default, probably because the way that I grew up, my mom basically believes in world peace and ponies with love. I love her so much. She's amazing. And the other members of my family are in like every end of the political spectrum, religious spectrum, you name it. I like grew up arguing it and understanding it and having a really, really high degree of empathy.
Yeah.
And I think that experience allows me to just kind of spit out the things that I think other people need to hear. And because I have a high degree of empathy, I feel everything from like everyone. And it doesn't bring me down. It doesn't depress me, but I'm like, oh, well, this is how I'm feeling. The world probably needs to hear this thing. And then I think what took it to the next level was getting certified as a yoga instructor and really understanding alignment and how to create meaningful intentions for people. The business took off. I had to stop instructing yoga, which really bummed me out because you got to choose things that you don't want to put your attention to. And so it's like my own little way where I can still contribute something in that same light.
That's really cool, though. I mean, like, I think it's honestly, it's a service because it's served me. Sometimes I'll feel down and depressed or whatever, and then I'll look on like Instagram and I'm like, man, Joy is like up and blowing it up. Like, time to take the day, time to seize it. And then there's like a picture of you like boxing, and I'm like, man, she can't. I can't rest on my laurels, such that they are.
Right. I mean, I also think it's important too, though. Like, that doesn't mean that I don't struggle. Like, I have my days where it sucks, you know.
Sure.
But I also rely on other people to lift me up in that moment too, right? So
that's true.
I don't know.
And if the people aren't there to lift you up, then there's Traverse City Whiskey Company.
There it is.
Yes, even you can find a bottle of Joy in a bottle of Traverse City Whiskey. No,
I'm at the bottom of the bottle. That's where I am. That was my face looking up at people like, you can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I see a new venture coming for the Boone Group.
Hey, I love it. I feel bad, man. Lance, you haven't gotten a word in at all, which is new for you. I feel like you usually dominate the conversation. Maybe it's refreshing.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot.
What are you learning?
Motivation and names. You start to become your name.
Yeah. So, Ashton actually taught me this too. This is a fun little game about becoming your name. He basically created a tagline for himself and then also gave me a tagline, which I really appreciate.
I can't wait to hear this.
Well, you learned it because of what my Skype name is, right? Skype name is Joy is Strong and Beautiful. And so when people ask you like, oh, how are you doing? You answer Strong and Beautiful. Ashton, Strong and Handsome. We kind of, adjusted that for me. And it throws people off, in particular, like, I don't know, military leaders. I consistently answer that way, but it immediately breaks down the conversation. You have to do it respectfully, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. So you guys should come up with your own taglines. I'm excited to hear it on your future shows.
Well, that's exactly. I told you that my Zoom name when I'm in like sales conversations, or if I'm like, if we're whatever I'm doing, if we have a Zoom meeting with somebody, I always come up as Brendon, and then in like quotation marks, Hammer of the Gods Lemon, and people are always like, what? And I'm like, yeah, Brendon Malus de Deos Lemon. Like,
that's amazing.
It's just it throws people off. Well, Joy, what are you working on? What do you got coming up? You got any cool projects you want to share with anybody, or anything else you want to plug?
I think, well, there's kind of two things on my mind. I think the thing that I'm most excited about, rather most impressed by recently, is my team at work. They're just killing it, man. I mean, before our two business unit leaders and directors, basically 48 hours outside of this whole shift, right? Came up with a plan, was like, this is what we're doing. And I'm thinking, at this point, I wasn't sure how serious this whole thing was, which sounds ridiculous now, right? Because we're in the thick of it. I was like, I don't know, guys, like, really? And they kept pressing back, which I love, right? We're super transparent and aggressive in a good way. So they came up with a great plan, and it's been amazing to see every single person in the company, like, level up their personal leadership skills, their problem-solving skills, and connecting with people. Which is really inspiring out of this whole thing, right? Like, that's my little piece of it, and I'm sure there's pockets of that for other people. So I think overall, my team's leadership, and it inspires me every day. That's been really, really cool and fun to watch. And in terms of what I'm excited about, this is new for me. I'm always talking about like defense acquisition things and technology and weapons. And so I had no idea what to expect on this show. So it's been a very refreshing change of pace.
Yeah.
And inspiring me to get back to a little bit more creative writing, because I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, that's good. You should get in. This is the time to.
So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Shakespeare wrote Macbeth during a quarantine, so there's all kinds of possibility for things. Yeah, he did.
Not Macbeth, but that's interesting.
I mean, Sir Isaac Newton created what I think the laws of optics and a whole bunch of other things that Principia de Optica or something, when he was in when Oxford was shut down for the bubonic plague in the 1600s. Like, people can really get a lot of shit done. Although I did read an article recently called This is a quarantine, not a productivity contest. And I was like, that resonates. Like
that's actually nice. Although I am inspired to have the three of us like put together almost like a BuzzFeed list of 40 inventions that happened during plagues.
Oh yeah.
That would be kind of fun. But then I would want your voiceover to like talk shit about it in a comedic way that makes people laugh, so it's not just like an overachievement thing.
It'll be Lancey and I will go back and forth debating the merits of all of these inventions.
That would be fun. Yeah, and you could do it like the voiceovers for like sports competitions. You know what I mean? Like very quick, like really quippy back and forth. That'd be fun.
Coming in second place, Lancey, is Principia de Optica by Isaac Newton. This is coming in strong from the Oxford philosopher.
Yeah, then you can hold up like 10, 1, or like just a straight up thumbs down or an X. Like, no. Shouldn't.
Well, Joy, where can people follow you? Follow your get your positive vibes. And I should say it's worth following you because, honest to goodness, it's a shot in the arm that I think, especially lately, we all need.
Thank you. Yeah, really easy. Joy Angela Shanaberger. Long, actually. It's not that easy. Joy Shanaberger on LinkedIn and at Joy Ange, ANGE on Instagram.
Cool. Well, I should say thank you so much for joining us at the Happiest Hour. We're coming up on the top of the hour, so I got to let you go. Lancey and I will finish this thing out. But I thank you so much for coming on and spreading some of your joy on this program. And I know, it's so bad. I know, it's really bad. Do you know what's awful? Is like when you do a lot of comedy, bad jokes almost become as good as good jokes. that you're just like, oh, this is
Yeah.
going to be so bad?
Because you're getting a reaction, But hey, thank you guys so much for having me. Lancey, I'm sorry that you got like 26 and a half words in, but
no.
I'm giving you the night off, man. I'm an Italian, so I don't shut up. So that's just how it works.
I'll be in touch. I'll friend you on Twitch, and then we'll keep in touch that way.
Yeah, you can go on. Both of you guys can play GTA at the same time.
Yes.
God. All right, guys.
Thank
Talk
you so
to you
much.
later.
Take care.
Bye. See ya.
Is she? There we go. Hey, what a delight, man.
Very delightful.
She's like, I feel like what she needs to do is make some extra money by creating a service where people can like dial in or if they just need some positive energy, they can call like a 1-900 number, just get a recording of Joy saying like really nice things.
Just reading the phone book.
Yeah. She can just read the history of the last word really positively.
I was going to ask you, do you know the history of the word quarantine?
Quarantine? No, I don't. No, I'm sorry. I'm not a philologist. Lancey, I'm not.
I didn't think that you liked kids. Just settle down.
Oh man! No, I love kids.
It means 40.
Quarantine means 40 for 40 days.
Yes, and I was thinking that it went back to the Bible because Jesus going into the desert for 40 days.
So here's something I do know about ancient Hebrew, which is that 40 is a term that just means a lot. Like it doesn't in the ancient Hebrew there was no. It's like saying a gajillion. Like Jesus went into the desert for a gajillion days. That's like basically what it is, like what it's saying. So because they just didn't have 40 was just so much that
it was a bunch.
Ramses the second lived to 40. Joy just said she will pre-record inspirational messages for your peoples. What a lovely person. Anyway, Ramses II was like 41, and people thought he was like a very old man because like nobody really lived, that long. Dustin Music, my cousin, says Moses went into the desert. You're right. Moses went into the desert for 40 years, right? Anyway, that's like saying they wandered the desert for a bajillion years. Just FYI.
Well, I know Jesus was in isolation for 40 days.
I think Jesus was in Iceland for 40 days, actually. I think it was a
That's what it was. Reykjavik. He was in Reykjavik because of that airport.
Some people actually think that Jesus had an uncle that apparently historically was a trader. He actually like went, people believe that he went from place to place. So the 30 years that Jesus was like gone for, it was apparently, Ashton is like, she's only logged on to see if you guys are talking shit about her. We're talking shit about Jesus, Ashton.
Hey, hold up. No, we're not. I'm trying to learn something.
Anyway, apparently people think that he went on this, trade with his uncle and was gone for 30 years. Because the Bible skips a whole bunch of his life. And some people think he actually went as far as Britain at the time. He went to Wales because Wales was a huge tin. There was a lot of people who were mining tin there, and tin was really important to the ancient world. So, pretty interesting, I guess.
People from Wales say that. Oh yeah, Jesus came by here.
Welsh people say that all the time. Jesus came by here.
Yeah, that's, you're not going to hear a lot of other people saying that, but Welsh people, they like that rumor.
Let me tell you, the Welsh. If there's one group of people who can put a shine on things, it's the Welsh.
Have you watched that Michael Jordan thing yet?
Wait, which one? What are you talking about?
There's a new documentary out called The Last Dance about the 97-98 Bulls.
No. Oh, no. Nah, I didn't see it. That's what you were wearing. That was what your post was about, though.
Right. You're like, I'm piecing this joke together. I like how you can be so deficient with your sports knowledge. It's almost like if one of your senses is out, the other senses get stronger. Like your sports knowledge is so bad, it makes everything else better.
I can't tell you a thing about sports, man. But I can tell you about how some people believe that Jesus went to Wales. Yeah, but how did he play in the 97 Bulls season?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh my God. Joy's asking how you and I met. She said, tell the story of how did the first time you met Lancey and Brendon, did you lock eyes and slowly start running toward each other? Well, Joy, what you don't understand is that Lancey and I are actually the same person, separated only by a beard and a haircut.
Yeah. I think we met, what is it called? Grinder?
Grinder. It's for grinning right now. I met you at I remember Grinder. We were in the same bathroom at the same time, and we both matched on Grinder. I remember that.
Halstead's changed. Halstead has changed.
Have you tried to go out to a bar in Boys Town right now? They're all closed.
They're all boarded up.
They're all boarded up. Oh my goodness, man. I had like 3 other things I was going to say to you, and I completely forgot them now that were off in this bizarre tangent.
Well, Laura and I found out our favorite brunch place closed today.
No, which one? What?
Yep. It's called Toast. It was at...
I know Toast. Toast closed?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so we've been going there since the dawn of our relationship. Apparently, it's been in business like 27 years. Yeah. I assume COVID-related reason.
Man, that's so sad. Well, man, that blows. We got to go. That's why you got to order out. You got to support these places. We talked about that the other day, that, like, you got to support these joints.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, what a weird time. I'm glad that, I guess, good for I'm glad for all the people who work at Joy's company that they're kicking so much ass, as she mentioned, because it's like, it's a challenging time for everybody. I'm happy that I have a day job until they watch this, actually, and then I don't believe it.
Would your job get mad at you for this?
I'm sure that they have really strong beliefs about Jesus in Wales. So, we'll see what ends up happening. Well, buddy, we are at the hour. I should let you get back to your evening and get back to your live streams. Who do you got on tonight, man?
I think Tim Cox is going to stop by for a little bit and maybe more.
Coming to you live on Lancey Joe on Venmo show. Tim Cox comes by to give his brand of unique laugh-in-your-belly comedy.
Yeah. Y'all follow me on Venmo at Lancey Joe. I don't care about all these other websites.
All right. Well, hey, thank you, Lancey, and thank you guys for tuning in, checking us out. 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific Time, and 11:30 GMT. Thank you so much. This is Brendon and Lancey signing off. Thank you, Joy Shanaberger, and everybody at the Boone Group for watching. Take care, everybody. Peace.